Well, welcome back to the virtual Canadian Immigrants Conference. My name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. Happy to be joined by three great professionals who are going to be able to help you in whatever questions that you might have. And I'm going to introduce each one individually and ask them about to introduce themselves and what they do. But also, if you have any questions for the panel, anything you want to know, by all means, throw them in the event or in the stage chat, and I'll moderate them. So Lucy Kenzina is job coach, mentoring pathways to employment at Jobstart. Lucy, nice to see you again. Thanks for being on. And why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself, what you do, how you help people.
Thank you, Marc. Thank you for inviting me to such a great event. It's an honor for me to be part of such initiatives because I myself was an immigrant 20 years ago, and I'm definitely not just a person who can empathize. I actually literally lived through the same type of experience when I arrived to Canada, and I have a lot of things to share through my professional development as well, because career counselor is my second career. I was a professional medical laboratory technologist when I arrived to Canada, and now I overgrew into new careers that I'm really passionate about, and that's thanks to all the opportunities that was provided to me as a new immigrant to bring my skills up to the professional level to be able to fulfill my dreams. So right now I'm working as a mentoring pathway to employment counselor at Jobstart, and I'm here to answer all the questions, whatever questions will be there, and share my experience.
Well, thanks very much, Lucy. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, we'll cover a lot of stuff here in the next 28 minutes or so. Prashant Gupta is Senior Associate Due Diligence Services at Mazars. So Prashant, thanks for being here. Maybe you can give people an idea as to what you do, what Mazars is, and anything else you'd like to share at this point.
Sure, Marc. First of all, thanks for having me and inviting me to the panel. My name is Prashant Gupta. I'm a Senior Associate at Mazars, Canada, and I'm a part of the Transition Services team. So my role is doing the financial due diligence in the M&A transition that happen across the Canada, and also we help the US team as well. And this is a great thing to be part of the panel because I am myself an immigrant. I immigrated last year to Canada, and I had a very close experience with what immigrants go through in the initial stage of their getting to Canada. So I would be very happy to share my insight and meet with the participants as well. Thank you.
Terrific. Thanks very much. And Karen Hutson Salinas is Employment Consultant, COSTI Employment Services in the Mississauga, Ontario office. Thanks, Karen, for being here.
Thanks,
welcome.
Marc.
And if you can introduce yourself. Yeah, as well.
So I work as an employment consultant, and I have been working in this since graduating from university. I grew up in another country, so I'm trilingual because of that. I grew up in Brazil. And in terms of my journey to this career as a consultant, it changed. I was going to initially be a nurse, and then decided that I wanted to see if I can get into a Canadian university. So took a step back while my parents were studying their master's degree at the University of Toronto. I did the 6 credits to get into the university here, and then studied and graduated from York University, and working with the first division actually at COSTI, dealing with newcomers that spoke Portuguese and Spanish and that were looking for employment, and then progressing to other divisions and working with internationally trained professionals for over 10 years just in that area. Working in the Mississauga and Peel offices. We do work with newcomers, so it's kind of a privilege, actually. I'm honored that Marc invited me to be here today, and hope that you can approach. And one thing is the services are all funded by the government. So in the program Employment Ontario, it's provincially funded, so you don't have to pay. So that's a really good thing in my my books when a service is free and very, very professional. So you will be able to, as long as you're eligible to work in Canada. In the networking sessions, I actually connected with someone that's not even in Canada. So it's a good thing she's preparing to actually come to Canada. And once you arrive, you could contact us and we can actually help you. We've been working virtually since COVID, since 2020, since March, for the majority of our offices, except for our Ralph Chiadoro Reception Center, which actually houses families. And we do have also shelters that help individuals in Toronto. And that's face-to-face, helping clients that need that assistance. In terms of our employment, I would say over 80% of our clientele in the Mississauga location is actually internationally trained, highly educated professionals looking for their very first employment opportunities in Canada.
Excellent. So it's a four-letter word that is music to the ears of many people. Free, F-R-E-E, right? Free services, right?
Yeah. And very professional.
Excellent. Okay, well, let's go back. Just ask each of you a question here, and to get things started, Lucy, what suggestions do you have for a new Canadian, somebody who's a new immigrant to Canada?
For people who just arrived, basically first months and these days during COVID, definitely we have a lot of additional advices to our regular advices. First of all, we as people who represent internationally trained professionals and supporting them in the employment process, we always advise not to stay isolated. Even though in physical space we all keep distances, I know it's really important to get as much support as possible. And as Karen mentioned, we have so many available support programs which are all free because they're funded by either provincial, municipal, or federal governments, and do not end up in some situations when you feel alone. Okay, so I know just implement every possible tools to get connected and stay connected. That's one piece of advice I think really important these days. It's like one step to success right away.
Right. Prashant, you're the newest on the panel to Canada. What surprised you about coming to Canada? What did you not expect, or what did you something that you thought might be different, perhaps?
Well, the only thing which I thought would be different was thinking about not a COVID world. So I immigrated during the time of COVID, and it was very different. It was also difficult because the immigrants who generally come at a normal time, and they have all the help such as immigration consultant and services like COSTI and other services which help them, but it is all virtually right now. And at this point of time, it was, I would say, difficult as well as different, because when you are doing everything virtually, it is not very easy, and you might get lost track. There's no one to help you out, and if you are going out somewhere, you would not know what to do, because you have immigrated just to a new country, a new world altogether. And because we are in the COVID as well, you can't just go out to the people out in the street and say hi and ask for help, because that we have to maintain the distance as well. So that was a very difficult and different one. So I would say that's not expected as usual.
Fair enough. That's good.
May I ask Prashant view? I actually realized that these days when we meet in all these remote spaces, it's really hard to explain how it's great to live in Toronto, because all our experiences that we have to share, what we love about living in Toronto, not available for majority of people who just arrived. But what we can reassure you is that we're definitely looking forward to show all other aspects of living in Canada and Toronto, beside all the advices that we're giving during online sessions and remote one. But whatever is available, we have to use extensively. This is really, thank you, Prashant, for making this clear that you're right. It's a bit strange.
Yeah.
It's a strange situation when you cannot really explore as much as you could before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Karen, what's changed from what you've seen over the last year for somebody new to Canada, an immigrant?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like in my organization, there's over 400 staff, and we have like the employment division, family counseling, dealing with addictions and gambling. There's enhanced language training, so co-op programs. We, from 1 month to, like, it was February, we were still in the office. And then by March, we're all working from our home offices. I'm right now in my dining room, living room table, and interviewing clients, delivering webinars. And it is a challenge even for professionals when I love the face-to-face contact with people. But having to do that online and being able to reach outside of Canada. So we have some clients actually joining webinars and online services remotely and virtually and over the internet. But in terms of getting accustomed to the technology, today my camera, as I'm clicking, it disappeared, so I don't see myself, but I'm looking at you, and I'm a little embarrassed to say, but this happens, life happens, right? And I'm crossing my fingers that my internet connection with Rogers is not going to turn off, because that will be another problem. So that happens, and employers do understand. But the good thing is, there's a lot of support, as Lucy was saying, and Prashant, that you can actually access. We are working remotely. We do have some of the offices are still doing the face-to-face because they're still open 24/7. A shelter doesn't close. People are living there. But there is still lots of assistance for those that look for it. There is assistance. It's going to be virtually. It's going to be over the phone. So it's a challenge for those that are not computer literate. So I do have some customers on my roster that it's over the phone. I'm not able to do this virtual thing because they don't have computers at home, and they're doing everything that they're doing over their phones. So in our offices, we have free computers, free internet connection, free printing. But we haven't been back to the office since the closure. So that's a big change. And life continues. And I do expect, with people being vaccinated, one of the clients I interviewed today, he just came in April the 2nd. And are you still seeing me? Because my screen just went dead. Hello?
Yeah.
April the 2nd, he arrived, and he's getting his vaccine. So that's the good thing. I live in a hot spot. All my family's been vaccinated. So I encourage you, please get the vaccine. The earliest we can get the vaccines, the earlier we can go back to normal and businesses can start opening again. I've also been surprised that in spite of this COVID, businesses are continuing to operate as usual. Some of the businesses, like the banking industry, has positions, and they have hired our clients. Customer service, remote positions, the CIBC, Royal Bank of Canada. There are some positions where you could continue. So we are even, all our workshops, facilitators, counselors, they're working remotely. I've never worked as hard as I'm working now in my life. I'm putting in so many hours. So at the office, it's usually you have 8:30 to 4:30, right? But when you have a computer and it's on all the time, it's a challenge not to stop working, right? But you do what you have to do to help people. And for me, the biggest benefit is in terms of working in this type of industry, for those that are considering non-for-profit social services, is when you get a customer coming back to you and saying, Karen, I'm so happy you helped me with my resume. I got an interview and I'm about to get hired. And they tell you that news that they got hired. In spite of the COVID, right? We do have clients that are getting hired, for remote positions, the virtual interviews as well. So with virtual interviews, you need to prepare. And I prepared. I went onto this Hopin site and prepared. And in spite of that, I can't see anyone on the panel because I'm a happy clicker. So I'm being a little bit too honest and telling everybody. Things in
That's right.
Yeah, and it happens.
Yeah, no, we're good. We can hear you and hear you, see you. Thanks very much for that. That's very impressive. So my name is Marc Belaiche, president of TorontoJobs.ca. The panelists, Lucy Kenzina, job coach, mentoring pathways to employment at Jobstart. Prashant Gupta is senior associate due diligence services at Mazars, and Karen Hutson Salinas is employment consultant, COSTI employment services in the Mississauga, Ontario office. So Lucy, maybe over to you, and that is the benefit, like what, if somebody speaks another language, I mean, Toronto and Canada is so multicultural, and there's always a community of any language can be found anywhere here. And I always say, network within your community because, they speak your language, that you'll feel more at home maybe. But what other advantages, what other things could you suggest to somebody who speaks another language? What can they do to improve their chances at settling, getting a job quicker? What would you say?
Yeah, language definitely a big advantage. Second language especially in Toronto. I don't know how in other part of our province, but in big cities, we have definitely bilingual English and French as a priority. However, any other community language is in demand, and it's continuation of your communication skills. We always actually advise to include it in resume, the fact that you're bilingual, multilingual, because it's adding up value to you. There is also a really great part in having another language is, for example, in our mentoring program, we're connecting with people based on things in common you have with them. The more, let's say, educational background, professional background, and cultural background, including your language, could be a great starting point for those type of professional conversations, because in every profession, there are so many people who arrived to Canada maybe a bit earlier than you, and they already built very successful presence in their career. So your second language will be perfect point of icebreaker conversation when you rebuild your new professional network in Canada. So I really believe it's a really great strength. You cannot underestimate that. Yes.
For sure. Well, so why don't you say a few words in your mother tongue, Lucy?
I actually have two mother tongues that nobody knows. One is Tatar. I'm from Kazakhstan, and in Canada, usually you considered, let's say, Canadian of Kazakhstan origin, but my true culture is Tatar, and it doesn't exist as a state, but it's an ethnicity. And I use Russian as my second language because I studied at university in Russian, and it helps me a lot because I help some clients who arrive and their English is not at the fluency level when they have to be explain some pieces that are more complex. So I use my language to explain some complex stuff, complete application or explain some stuff. And plus, it's really great sometimes to join some cultural events to, embrace your and to educate other people on your culture. In Canada, you have so many conversations about that. So it's a great, as I said, the more diverse we are, the better.
Yeah, for sure.
We have to embrace our identity.
So Prashant, I know there's people who are watching from all over the world today, and we'll watch on the recordings and so on. But and you moved last year, you said. So what can someone do in anticipation of moving to Canada? I mean, aside from the visa process and all those things, what helped you prepare to come to Canada? What were the things that you thought about beforehand that you could share with people watching here today?
Well, from my side, I would say most of the people who come to Canada are coming without a job and they are interested in finding a job and working in Canada. So if you are coming with that thought process, then I would definitely suggest to start networking even before arriving in Canada, and also take the free services of employment services agencies like COSTI and the other which are available by the government. So they really help with the free resume preparing and other guidance that they provide. And I would also suggest that network with the people within your industry, within the companies that you want to work in, so that you can understand the Canadian job market in more detail. And I've also written a article on this, which is available on the CIC new website, which is a newspaper. So I would strongly suggest that you can read, that the people who would be watching this would be reading this. That would be really help them. And lastly, I would say that if you are interested, then you can also go for the language services, because as Canada is bilingual, and if you have good English proficiency, you would also may want to add on the French proficiency and learn some French, which would really help you in Canada. So that is something which you also may want to consider that.
Excellent. And you want to say a few words in your mother tongue?
Namaste. That's Hindi. So yeah. So my mother tongue is Hindi, and I also know English, and right now I'm learning French.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you want to say something in Hindi then?
Yeah, namaste is in Hindi, and let's say aap kaise hain, which is how are you? How are you doing?
Excellent, excellent.
So in my language, good luck sound udachi. Udachi. All the best.
Just to show a little bit of how multicultural we are just here on the platform. My background's French, so bonjour à tout le monde. Karen,
Merci.
Karen, anything to add to anything that anybody said?
Like piggybacking on what Prashant was talking about, networking, it's, we need to, and I know some of the people coming into Canada, they were at their top of their professions. They were the seniors. And so they didn't really even have to apply to positions. People came to them and asked them if they would like to work, right? So now they're coming into a brand new country and having to start all over again. And I would say the majority of our clients, they do maybe get a survival job, but just to get some money so they're not exhausting all their funds, right? But getting positions that are mid, and how do they get into positions? I remember a story of a couple. They were both from India. They were both professionals. She was a mechanical engineer, and he was an IT professional. And they were looking for work, and they, within days, they landed in Peel region, and they landed at COSTI. They're our clients. And they attended most of the sessions, learning about targeted resumes, learning about those keywords, and they were talking about that in the session. In the other sessions, I kind of took a peek a little bit, so it was kind of interesting that everybody's talking about targeted resumes, learning about networking. So they connected with professionals in their field prior to leaving Canada, and they were actually referred to people in positions here. He worked at Accenture, and she worked at PepsiCo. And guess what? Both landed within a few months in jobs in their professional fields, in their professions. And she actually got a promotion. She was promoted. And she said, Karen, I got a promotion. I'm in a higher level here than I had in my former country. But in spite of having offers, they continued to go to job fairs. They continued to meet employers until it was a done deal. And it's not a done deal until you start working, until you start that probation period, right, and finish it. Usually probation can be up to 3 months. And they were successful, but they were successful because they put in the effort. It's not just about luck. It's about putting in the effort, joining events like Marc's event today, where he's actually inviting newcomers and immigrants and having sessions on resume writing and networking, and sessions where we have experts and panelists kind of sharing their expertise. I speak Portuguese, Spanish, and English. And my first job at COSTI, I actually had to deliver workshops in Portuguese and Spanish. So those other language skills, if you have language skills that are in the top 10, even putting that in your job alert, you'll be getting jobs that actually requires those particular skills where no one else has that language. So don't put yourself down. Don't worry too much about an accent. I still have an accent. I've been here for over 30 years. As long as you're not speaking too fast and people can understand you. That's what I would say about that. But it's a very good thing. We're a multicultural society, one of the most multicultural cities in the world, right? The GTA. So it's a good thing.
And do you want to say something in Portuguese or Spanish?
Sure. Bem-vindo, boa sorte, e bem-vindo. So good luck. Boa sorte a todos.
There you go.
Good luck to everybody.
Excellent, excellent. So thanks very much, Lucy. Jobstart, how can you help people who are new to Canada, or what services are provided that you can help with?
We have, as I mentioned, all different level of support for newcomers, starting from municipal, provincial, and federal programs. Definitely all of them free, and they range from settlement with all the type of support with how to apply for affordable housing, taxing, cultural, getting involved in cultural events and getting to know city really well, and all the type of medical and health type of support, and all the funds that are available to you, finishing up with programs like ours that moving you straight forward to your employment through different pre-employment preparation, big events, group networking, group mentoring, hiring events. So we have like big structured support, and usually you get involved in all aspects of it. When you join, what I like about Jobstart is like one-stop shop. When you get involved, you get in all type of support, because usually immigrants have to juggle through so many things at the same time. So we're trying to accommodate all their needs in one space. So you actually getting at the same time in parallel all type of support from.
Excellent. I just want to also mention to those of you that are watching that may have heard Karen say GTA. It means Greater Toronto Area if you're not from Canada, and GTA, or the Greater Toronto Area, is the biggest.
We're talking about Toronto, Great Toronto Area. We serve Great Toronto Area.
Yeah, it's the biggest region in terms of population, centralized in Canada. So just so you know, and it's where we are all from, and it's the best area, right? All of us. What's really nice about Canada is from east to west, like there's so much amazing beauty and natural resources and so on. So lots to see anywhere across Canada, really, from that matter. So. Thank
you mentioned GTA, but we have, because of COVID, at least up until we will work remotely, we actually open to people who have PR. They already have PR visa, but they couldn't arrive to Canada for different reasons and restrictions. We're still serving them. So we're open to register people who should arrive, but they stuck in their countries for some different reasons. We're still serving them.
I want to thank you for coming. Thank you for being on the panel. Thank you to everyone for being at the virtual Canadian Immigrants Conference. Lots of great information today. Today's event was presented by TorontoJobs.ca and TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca, powered by Event Logic with a K.ca. Again, my name is Marc Belaiche, president of TorontoJobs.ca. The panel, Lucy Kenzina, job coach, mentoring pathways to employment at Jobstart. Prashant Gupta, senior associate due diligence services at Mazars. We had Karen Hutson, Salinas, employment consultant, COSTI Employment Services in the Mississauga, Ontario office. So I want to thank the three of you. How did you like the event? Let us know. We'll be sending you a survey out to complete after the event. I want to thank all the speakers that we've had today. Lots of great information, lots of great topics. Also, the team, a lot of people behind the scenes, Alex, Rachel, Anne, Sandra, Sarah, and Carla. Thanks very much for all the support and preparation and so on. I want to also just highlight some of the sponsors and exhibitors today, TorontoJobs.ca. If you have any staffing needs, feel free to reach out to sales@TorontoJobs.ca. If If you're looking for a job, visit TorontoJobs.ca and check out the job openings. You can post your resume and search and apply to positions. TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca, if you're an entrepreneur or you're thinking about starting up a business, you can visit the website to get information about being an entrepreneur in Toronto or Canada. EventLogic with a K.ca, if you'd like to sponsor, exhibit at, or speak at an upcoming event, visit the website. Again, EventLogic with a K.ca. I'm going to post in the chat also in the event area a link to the upcoming virtual events that we have. So including, for example, the Student Career Conference happens Wednesday, May 12th. The link is there. The TorontoJobs.ca Virtual Career Fair happens on Wednesday, May 19th, I should say. And the Canadian Virtual Recruiters Panel happens on Wednesday, May 26th. So the links are there. We're running about 14 or 15 virtual events a month. So there's lots to choose from. Check out the link, check out anything that might be of interest to you. You can stay connected to all of TorontoJobs.ca social media at the Linktree link that I had, that I posted. And again, if you want to sponsor or exhibit or speak at one of our upcoming events, there's a Linktree link, and connect with me on LinkedIn as well. I'll put the LinkedIn, my profile in there as well. And again, you should check out our TorontoJobs.ca YouTube channel. There's lots of great videos on there that you can check out that on all kinds of different topics, everything from immigrating to job search and much, much more. So we do tack on an extra 10 minutes to the event that you can still have some time to network through our speed networking area. You can visit our expo area and more. And again, thank you to all of you on the panel. I want to thank you for sharing your experiences, and look forward to seeing you at the next event. And everybody be safe.
Absolutely. And Marc, one more thing. I actually, when I joined Toronto 20 years ago, I actually met you, and since then, I think you was the best opportunity connector. I think by connecting with TorontoJobs.ca means you connecting with basically virtually every possible opportunity in GTA area. I think that was my luck at that time when I learned about your organization. So thank you for inviting us and organizing all those events for us.
Thanks very much. Thanks for the testimonial.
Thanks, Marc.
Thanks, Marc. Thanks.
Take care.